G'day and welcome. My name's John Vile, and I'm here to invite you to come and join me as we do this robotics challenge. This challenge is the 1 month roboticist challenge. So the key idea here is that in 1 month, I want you to help build up the skills for you to be able to look back on this 1 month and call yourself a roboticist. And how we'll know that you've achieved this is that you'll have built a robot entirely by yourself. So you'll have found a robot out there and you'll have the skills and the templates to be able to put together a robot simulation using the Robot Operating System version 2 and the Gazebo simulator. So how are we going to go about doing that? Well, I really like this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, which kind of gives the idea of, if you do a small thing every day, over time that can build up to become really quite a powerful way to build capabilities, to help you become the kind of person that you want to be. And so we're going to use that idea to help us to become a roboticist. So over the next 4 weeks, what we're going to do is every day I'm going to give you a challenge, something I'd like you to try and do. And if you do these small steps over the next 4 weeks, at the end of it, you'll have built a robot, and you'll have also got you'll have been exposed to a whole bunch of other robotics techniques. And this will mean that you'll be able to, call yourself a roboticist, or at least a beginner roboticist. Now, the other thing that another kind of cool book that I'd like to do with this course, or encourage you to do with this course, is this book, Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Now, this book is really great because it kind of says that if you just, as you're going along the journey of building something and of learning something, you can get a lot of benefit from showing your work to others. And so what I'm suggesting that you do along this way is every day, the piece of work I want you to do, I then want you to share that on the internet, on LinkedIn predominantly, but you can use Twitter as well, or some other social media as you like. But the key point is to help keep yourself accountable, you need to be sharing publicly something that you've done in robotics every day for the next 4 weeks. And so how long is this going to take? Well, my objective is for this to take you about 1 hour per day. Now, this is 1 hour every day of the week, so 7 days a week, so it's quite a big commitment. So you need to look in your calendar and try and find some time every day that you are pretty sure you'll be able to spend about 1 hour doing robot stuff. If you don't have the time to spend an hour doing robot stuff, I mean, that's okay, but you're not going to get the outcomes. You're not going to be able to look back after 4 weeks and find that you've built a robot, because the work will just build up, and then eventually you'll find that you don't have enough time. So it's really important to find the time to try and find yourself 1 hour per day just for the next 4 weeks, so that you can build a robot and become a roboticist. So what do you need to get started? Well, so you're going to need to understand computers and programming. You won't necessarily need it at a high level, but you're going to need to be able to, handle Python programming, handle XML style syntax. If you ever used HTML before, XML is kind of similar to that. And so you're going to need to have the basic skills to be able to handle, modern computer stuff. But we're also going to look at using a lot of other things to help us make this a bit easier. So we're going to look at using Windows 11 and a special thing inside Windows 11 called WSL, or the Windows Subsystem for Linux. We're going to combine that with Docker and VS Code to allow us to run a containerized version of Ubuntu inside of your Windows computer. This means that if you don't want to take the plunge and go full on into this robotics experience, if you're not prepared to dual boot and learn how to be a Linux system admin along the way, you can just keep it all contained inside of the WSL Docker environment, and that'll be just fine, and you won't have to commit all the way. I'm also going to give some instructions on how to get it set up on Ubuntu 22.04, which is a very common version of Linux, and that's just so that you can, if you are already a person who uses Linux, you can kind of see how to get started. And I do think that robotics these days is done predominantly with Linux. So if you find yourself getting to the end of this course and you feel like you're ready, you're now a beginner roboticist, I encourage you to go back and look at how to get set up with Ubuntu, because you'll probably appreciate it, and you'll find it a little bit easier to use than the Windows stuff. Now, a lot of the early parts of this course is going to be based on my Start Creating Robots course, which is a free course that you can do over 5 days to just get set up. So that's great background work. If you've already done that, great. But feel free to just keep on the track. The early parts of the course will give you enough, so you don't have to drop everything and go and do that course before you come and participate in this challenge. There are two other sort of side little programs that we're going to try and install on your computer. We're going to install FreeCAD Daily, which is a computer-aided design program that allows us to create 3D shapes. And we're going to use those to create meshes that we're going to import into our simulator. And we're also going to use the open source software Blender. Now, Blender is a crazy, amazing, powerful tool, but I just want to use Blender so that we can color our meshes, because if you don't do that, they tend to come out in this horrible gray color, which is okay, but it's much nicer if you can color and play with that. So we'll use Blender to make the meshes that we generate in FreeCAD look much better. Okay, so what's the plan? Well, in the first week, I'm actually calling it week 0 because we won't be giving you daily tasks, but I want you to get set up. So this means choose which operating system you're going to use, and then get set up with your Docker, your dev containers, your VS Code. And I want you to really get ready and do this, because the pre-work you need to be able to do this course is to have your computer ready, because the last thing you want to do is be wrestling with your computer while you're also trying to figure out how to do robot stuff. So the first week, we're just going to get set up. It's kind of like an onboarding week, and the real challenge doesn't start until week 1. In week 1, we're going to extend the Crichton robot. So Crichton's a little robot that drives around the Game City coffee shop, and we're going to extend it by adding a box on top. And also look at its software systems. And then in week 2, we're going to, staying in that Game City coffee shop, there's also a robot arm. And so we're going to look at using that robot arm and extending that by adding a gripper to that robot arm. And then in weeks 3 and 4, you're going to build the robot now. And so you're going to need to go out and identify a commercial robot which you think is interesting, that you think solves a problem that you care about. And then we're going to try and simulate that. So I'll encourage you to pick a robot that's not too complicated. I'd like you to avoid humanoid robots for the moment, because humanoid robots have a lot of other issues that wheels can usually deal with just fine. But your job is to go out, identify a robot that you want to model, and then spend 2 weeks going through the stages using the templates that we develop in the weeks 1 and 2 to actually produce your final robot. And along the way, every day, sharing what you've learned with the world and with us, the community here at the Robo Renegades. So that's it. Looking forward to having you on the journey with me, and I'll see you later.